Matthew 24:6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye not be troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in divers places, and all these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they be then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall arise, and shall deceive many. And because of iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Call halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Makakadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers, the 144,000 that do this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth among the heathen nations that look like the heathen nations. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago. All right. And dark times are upon America. Jacob's trouble is rapidly approaching as World War III is set to go full blown. Also with the collapse of Babylon from within and all the chaos that's going to ensue. And it really looks like 2024 is going to be that year. All right. So without any further ado, I'm going to let them talk, let pray about maybe 3 to 5 minutes of this video play, because they said a couple things that I want to touch on as we work our way around to the fact that, and through all this, they want to make Jake is being made the face of the problem. With all that's going on in the world, or all these things and mistakes and pollutions and geopolitical failures that are being done by these so-called white people, by these Edomites, mixing and mingling with these heathens, they're going to make the so-called black man, all right, the face of the problem here in America. That's why that Israeli woman on that council meeting last month said, said a week after October, the October, attack, which, in Israel, that the problem in Israel, the main problem in Israel today is young black Americans. Why is that? What the hell does young black Americans have to do with Hamas and Hezbollah and all the things that's going on over there? Why? Because she knows that they know, or a huge portion of the world knows, that they're the real Judites, the Judeans, the so-called Negroes in America. The Syrian president just came out and did a whole presentation on national TV saying that the people in Israel are not the ancient Israelites, that they have no ties to that land. And that's true. They're not the ancient Israelites, and they have no ties to that land. And he brought that history out. All right. The president of Syria. Okay. That'll be the second president that did so. The president in 1951 said the same thing. All right. He said it in Arabic. So did this one. But it is what it is. But without any further ado.
I mean, as I touched on at the top, we know the Fed is most likely going to pivot. We are anticipating big changes for the US economy, some saying hard landing, some saying soft landing. Who knows? We've also got major geopolitical tensions, as I touched on, everything from the Israel-Gaza war to Russia-Ukraine war going into its second year, to escalating tensions with China and Taiwan, with President Xi saying the reunification of China with Taiwan is inevitable. So
that's right. Just like the reunification of Ukraine with Russia is inevitable. Okay, it's inevitable. And only, and why should Westerners try to keep these people from reclaiming what's their own? All right? Because Esau's not happy if he's not in control of everything. Right? He's just not.
Certainly no shortage of volatility triggers. What is your macro outlook for 2024? Your 10,000-foot overview of what we can expect for 2024?
Chaos and confusion.
All right. Chaos
It,
and
it's
confusion.
it just seems like we're at the precipice of everything breaking down. We have a Fed pal who thinks he's in control of everything, and he's in control of everything until a large sovereign like China releases trillions of dollars or yuan into the marketplace. You got Europe has to do something. I mean, this debt deal they just announced, I was reading through, it's so complicated. It's a promise to do nothing. I just think we're going to see more flooding of heroin all across the financial industry. I call it heroin because it's the best analogy. You know, junkies either rehab or they die.
Oh, wow. This is, we have to let that play, but this is Jeremiah 49:7. Concerning Edom, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished in the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? So when you look at the things that they're doing, the things that they do to their very own counterparts, to their own allies, and the way they're handling business is detrimental to themselves and their own, and they think they're going to get order out of chaos, and what they're going to do is just open up Pandora's box and have no control over it, opening up their borders and letting millions. I don't know how. I think it was 8 million people have come into America. You could probably say a couple 100,000 of them are probably enemy combatants. I heard a report that at least 17 people that were on a terrorist list were were caught by, I guess, by Homeland Security or the Border Patrol. Whoever caught them, if they caught 17, how many more do you think got through? All these military aged men that continue to pile into America with no, they're not like the Venezuelans you see on the corners begging for change, wrapped in the blankets and stuff in Chicago because they're not used to this weather, trying to sell candies and hustling, right? You're not. Those are not the people you have to worry about, at least for now, because eventually, when people are hungry and tired of not having it, they just gonna go get it any way that they can. And if your window, your door is the, in between them and heat, in between them and food, they're coming through it, and that's some of the chaos that he's speaking of. It's coming. Like it's in what was that in Matthew 24 and 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So people are going to harm and destroy, kill, even eat other people.
And this mechanism of being able to print money, it's just too easy. If I was in control, I would print money. Mm-hmm. I would print and I would print and I would print and I would print until the patient is either dead and someone else has to take care of them. I think people are grossly underestimating how long this can go on. And that's true of the Bitcoin community. They seem like, hey, this is all going to end tomorrow. But I think it's very difficult to determine how long a Fed can print. And quite frankly, I think most of the population is happy when they print. So
Well, they will be until the dollar is dead, and that's only days away. So that won't even work much longer, because you're going to be looking at, something like the Weimar Republic, where people are going to have wheelbarrows of dollars of money just to buy, not even a bag of groceries, maybe a loaf of bread and a $15, $20 gallon of milk. You'll never see oil prices under $100 a barrel ever again. It's over.
Solves voting, it solves unrest, and I think, quite frankly, tightening to 500% from zero in 6 months, that was insanity. Zero was insanity. It's just very unstable. It's very difficult to make economic decisions on large blocks of investment strategy for a family that are based on no fundamentals whatsoever. I mean, we had a war. We were talking yesterday when 9/11 happened, the stock market went down, what, 27% in 10 days? And in Israel, when the Israeli thing went off, a month or so ago, the stock market went up 2%. Now explain that to me.
Yeah, see, that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, which proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's all rigged, which is another reason why nations want to break away from, from the whore, from Babylon the Great. All right, and you see the name of this video is called "This Black Swan Event Could Derail the 2024 U.S. Elections" with Gary Cardone. I highly suggest that that you find the time to watch it. Even if you watch just 10 or 15 minutes at a time. All right, because he even agrees that it is looking like it's not going to be an election. Major things are going to happen, and he's probably right. All right, and somehow, some way, they're going to make Jake the face of it, the same way that the Israeli woman did. And with that, let's go to the next video with the Patriot nurse. And this one is called COVID-19. Get the latest information from the CDC about COVID-19. Now, I'm not gonna say anything about that because even when you tell the absolute truth with evidence, they'll still call you on disinformation or medical misinformation. So I won't speak on anything medically at all. All right, I'll just let the video play.
This happens in the gut. So it's fascinating to me that at 3 years out at this point, when so many people have rolled up their sleeves, so many people have complied, that now the newest variant seems to be focusing more and more on the seat of people's immune systems, not just through the blood system and through spike proteins and through all of this, but now we're actually seeing more of this seated in the gut itself, the center of the immune system in the body. Furthermore, your GI tract is also the center of the balance between the brain and the splenic nerves, the nerves which innervate essentially the deep components of the body, the subconscious, and also the gut. When you have a gut feeling, a gut intuition, this is what is governed by your GI tract, essentially. And this is what's under attack. Interesting to me that we have an election coming up. So it's like people's immune systems are under attack and their brain-gut balance is under attack. And now, of course, we're being mandated in various different places. Not in the state of Tennessee, but in the states of New York and Illinois, I think hospitals are mandating that people mask up in order to come in and see their loved ones again. It's funny because when you look at the distribution of these so-called interventions that are based upon science, they're heavily based upon politics. Don't sit there and tell me that they're not. It's funny because when you look at the way that politics has morphed into science and science has morphed into politics,
this is how AG1 works to deliver foundational nutrition that tastes great too. Matching.
These are not decisions that are being made by best practices and by solid data. And these are not recommendations that are being made with an acknowledgement that patients have a right to choose and that they have a right to informed consent. These are dictates being made from a political infrastructure, a fascistic political alliance between the medical industrial complex and between politicians right up in time for an election year.
I agree with 100% on that.
Compliance and into a mindset of accepting to do what they're told. So as we're moving forward into the next few months, and I've talked about this in previous videos, I anticipate that there's going to be an increase in social unrest.
Absolutely.
There is an increase certainly in political violence and in political rhetoric, for sure. And I'm not just talking words. I'm talking actual violence perpetrated against people, primarily by the left and the machine that was Black Lives Matter, which has now morphed into the pro-Hamas, pro-Palestinian, pro-terrorist cause around the world and also here in the United States, because we have
now, simply because it's called Black Lives Matter, all right, that Jake is being made the face of this problem. And I've said it 1,000 times. Black Lives Matter is a white organization, is an Edomite brand or controlled organization with a black name on it. All right, they're behind it. Antifa is behind it. Though that it is, but they're made to be made the scapegoat. That is why that woman said what she said. All right, that woman in Israel, I forget her name. Okay, that council member. I think she's a security council member or whoever she was, said what she said, and what the Patriot Nurse just said. That's been a talking point for many of these alternative media, and not only just alternative media, but even in the mainstream media. They keep making Black Lives Matter is now pro Hamas and pro Hezbollah and all this other mess, and look at the name of it. All right, so they're gonna come down on you, Jakes, man. They're making you the face of their problems, as all these everything that she's talking about are white issues and white created problems, hands down 100%. But they're making you the face of it. All right, and it's all gonna come to it. So they're making you the face of that. And I was watching the Aquaman movie, okay, and the face of the villain, of the bad guy. Because they're showing you all this stuff that's going on with the world, the pollution and destruction of the world. All these things were done by the so-called white man. He's ruined the seeds. He's ruined the air. He's ruined the soil. He's ruined the wildlife. The so-called white man did that, and him alone. But they're making the so-called black man the face of it in this movie. All right. Then they're also pushing the eating of bugs. So everything is an agenda, because there's two scenes where the guy eats a gigantic cockroach. Which, if you eat lobster or shrimp, you're eating a cockroach. It's the same thing. Those are just the water versions, dummies. But, like the scripture says, someone can put it on a comment board, the kingdom of heaven suffered violence, man. And we're suffering violence right now, and it's only going to get worse as this chaos comes, because they're going to make Jacob the fall guy. Okay? And so this is 2nd Ezra 15 and 14, and it says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and in the course of their actions they shall stand in their power." All right, so these factions are going to go against each other. All right, so when this thing breaks out, it's going to be, the Confederate States versus the Democratic States. Some of the Democratic States are ready to flip. It's going to be the alphabets against the non-alphabets. It's definitely going to have a huge racial part on it. It's going to be a class. It's just going to be a Royal Rumble free for all. And they're going to add AI, robots, and super soldiers in the midst of this. All right, to come after, and they're really doing that for the elect. All right, as a matter of fact, I was watching a video where the brother was going in on it, and he was bringing out how in this super soldier program, they're trying to model the soldiers after Steve Rogers, that's Captain America, and off of Tony Stark, Iron Man. So they're really trying to do this thing because they're worried. And then they're also concerned about all the UFO activity. Like you had a UFO that was shadowing Air Force One. They know it's the Chariots of Israel. They know who's piloting that. They know that's our big brothers who are coming to lay the smackdown and deliver those of us who be of the elect, which we're all hoping that we're of the elect. All right? And because why? All these, what I'm reading is going to be going on. Okay? They're gonna unleash this chaos, but they're never gonna get the control. They're gonna try to get control of it, and they're gonna use the micro C-hip to do that. That's the way back. That's the way to identify who's loyal to the new order and who's not. And when all these things that I'm reading about start happening, people that are saying no to it now are gonna be running to get in line to take that thing into their body. But then they're going to get that grievous sword and die. So the Lord's really got you in a trick bag. But it says, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, verse 15, 2 Ezra 15:15. For the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And it's going to be literal swords. Machetes, knives, hammers, axes, and the modern day sword is the gun. All right, so it's going to be a lot of people getting stabbed, shot, hacked, beaten to death, tire irons. It says, For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another, and they shall not regard their king. So they're going to be kicking in each other's doors, coming for water, food, whatever, anything that they think they can take, that they can trade, or that they can use. And they show you, matter of fact, just watch any of those post-apocalyptic shows. The Walking Dead was one of the best ones, especially the first like six episodes, or the first 6 seasons, I should say. First 6 seasons were really good, and and it really gave you a grim picture of what people become, because it wasn't even the zombies that was the real problem. I remember when it first came out, I was ignoring it until Maccabee, my son, until Mac told me about it, and he was like, "No, Dad, it's not about it's just not just another zombie thing. It's about the people, the people, going at each other, trying to get water, trying to get each other's women, trying to get food, trying to survive." I was like, "Oh, damn," So I said, "Okay, well then let me." And I started watching it, and man, that first 6 seasons of The Walking Dead, man, is legendary, because it painted a real picture of how grim it's going to be. All right, and that's just one of many at this point. All right, there's been a couple. What was the other? That was another real good one. It was 2 seasons of it called Black Summer. Oh man, you gotta watch that Black Summer, man. Black Summer goes hard. There's only 2 seasons of it. All right, but it says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power, and a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, because of their pride. The city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor." So, man, that same guy that you done shared a beer with, that you done stood out front and talked to your kids and played with his kids, that's going to be the same guy knocking you over the head, man. All right? It says, "And a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for the great tribulation." All right? So, right, so and femininity is going to die. The moment the dollar crashes and the lights go out, the feminists are going, that whole movement is going to die. Instantly. And if you're a woman and you live alone, all your neighbors, all your male neighbors, they know. Even the mailman and all the other people, the people who's fixed your toilet and your sink, and they all know. And if and if they remember your pantries was looking full, your refrigerator was looking full, your cabinets were looking full, you had a good liquor stash, and you got cheeks too. Oh yeah, they coming for you, sister girl. Okay. They ain't like everybody, like this chick around on the screens. This a pistol packing mama. She waiting for this shit. Not that it's gonna help her, but a lot of people come for her gonna wish they hadn't. But nevertheless, man, this shit is about to go down, man. All right. Hey, so with that, I'm gonna give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Bakakudash, Kwam Yasharala.